In this episode, we unpack why consistency, not perfection, is what actually separates good from great. Let's start here. How do you help athletes understand that it's not always about feeling perfect for every session, but it's just about showing up? We had Ryder Corrigan recently on one of our athlete series videos, and he was kind of talking about how he's showed up even when he's sore, and just he's given 100% of what he has, even though that might be 80% of what he usually is.
Yep.
Why is it still important to show up even when you're not feeling at your best?
Yep. I think it's a great example, and it comes off the back of, we know not any one workout, even any one week, any 1 month is going to move the needle. It's about small gains over a long period of time. So we're talking more in the years. So therefore, we need to be consistent. We don't want big holes in our training blocks, because then we just constantly have these plateaus or even drop-offs in our progress. And then if we only wait for when we feel great, and we're looking always for the perfect session, not only do these holes or gaps in training get more frequent, but they get bigger, because we know it's inevitable. You're never going to feel, or very rarely going to feel 100%. And often you're not going to feel like training. We're talking last week around, there's mornings where you just don't want to get up. But that's what having routines and being consistent is all about. And that's essentially what is about being great, is can you just stack a mountain of work over a long period of time, is usually the person that is going to outlast everyone and get the results that no one else gets. And then as you learn, we often talk about learning to train. So once you then get the head around training and being consistent, then you can start to stack, how do I draw intensity out of it? How do I get more out of every session? But for most kids that they want to do that, and therefore they miss so many sessions, and then ironically, never really are consistent, don't get results. Whereas if we went back from, let's just get consistency right first and then worry about the training, then I think people would enjoy the process more and get more out of it. There's a great example with one of our guys at the moment, and he's going really, really well, and it's highly likely he's going to be playing AFL footy at the end of this year. And early on, he sort of struggled with that concept. It was like, I'm a bit sore, I'll see you Wednesday. No, you booked in Monday. Just come in, we'll just see how you're feeling. And the funny thing is, often when you show up and you get started, you actually don't feel as bad as you thought you did, and you still get maybe a lot more out of it than you probably previously thought you would.
And so it's typically, obviously, more of an in-season discussion where it's like, it's getting colder, bodies are probably sore after a game, so it only takes like a corky here or there, and I guess athletes feel like they can't give 100%.
Yep.
So why do athletes fall behind during winter? I know that we've spoken in the past how there's like a 80% decrease from when you start the season to the end of the season in terms of your athletic, I guess, markers.
Yeah. Fatigue will build up naturally, and that's even if you do nothing. So if you only just try and play, train for your sport and recover, you will still see a drop in performance, because one, detraining, but also just fatigue accumulates. Therefore, it only accentuates the fatigue drop off even more. I think there's a little bit around just mindsets in that I've got to feel good for training, got to feel good for the game. And I think sometimes until you hear someone else's perspective and actually know what they're playing through and struggling through, like a lot of bit of soreness, a little bit of pain, even some niggles is almost part of sport. Not saying that's what we want, but it's just a mindset shift to say you're not going to feel perfect. That's the point. You still got to get to work and try and get better.
That's always, it comes back to even why people are so hesitant around the primer sessions, is because they're trying to prioritise game day and feel good, which is great, but is that, in the big scheme of things, is one game on a weekend, I guess, the biggest deal in the grand scheme when you're probably trying to get drafted like most kids? It's probably, doesn't actually matter too much.
And you wouldn't do it because you want to play and they've got to play their sport to get better at their sport. But it's almost for some kids whose footy's pretty good, it's actually, they'd nearly be better sitting out a year and just training. Sounds silly, but if that's what they need to work on to get to where they want to go, then you've got to make it a focus. And if you only focus just on your sports skills, when you need to improve your athletic profile, or you've had some injury niggles and you need to get your body right, you've got to invest time in it. It's the only way that it's going to get better.
And so for people who might be out there listening, parents, athletes, around. I feel like a lot of the attitude is it's too hard to start in season. So it's like, oh, I'll just wait for the off season when my schedule clears up. It's going to be pretty easy. But I guess why is it so much more beneficial to start now versus later?
Yep. Well, I think if you think of it as if things are really hard now, they're likely going to get easier moving forward. So if you can start now, then you're going to be fine with whatever happens next. Because these might be the toughest times you're facing from a busy schedule and all your commitments going on. If you wait till it's an easy time, okay, great, but at some point it's going to get hard again. And if that's a seasonal thing, it's going to happen. So what's going to happen then? Are you going to drop off? You know, you're going to get in a routine now, but then it's going to be really hard because you're going to face some challenges moving forward. To me, it's better off to start when it's hard, knowing that things are going to get easier moving forward, than to try and put it off and then do a little bit now, but then get sort of slammed with hard later on, and then you drop off when you've just started seeing results, or just started to get things going.
That's right. I think athletes kind of fall into the trap of, I'm a bit sore, like I probably won't come in today. I think it's got to sort of change the attitude to around, okay, I'm sore, like I've got a bit of a cork in the quad. What can I do today
absolutely.
to still maximise today and get something out of it, even if it's recovery based?
Even if you had a broken leg, you still got 3 limbs, 2 arms and a leg you can train. People don't realise that even training the uninjured leg, you still get a 20% benefit on the injured side. So there's still lots of benefits to have, and even if you only did upper body. So there's still a lot to be gained from showing up and trying to find a way around it. I'd just say that it's probably good to communicate in advance if it's a big change. So to ask the question, to understand what can I do, what can't I do, maybe before you jump in, and if the gym's busy and or speed session and you can't do too much. But they're discussions that should happen, not I'm not coming today because of this. I would love, and we talked about the Darcy example, like with his pre-season, it's what should I do? How do I manage this better? And actually trying to learn how to understand why we make decisions so that the next time this comes up, you understand better, which you're a great example of. How much work do you do in season?
A fair bit. It doesn't really drop off too much from what my off season looks like.
Maybe
really.
An extra gym session.
Yeah, maybe one gym session.
A bit extra top up running.
Yeah.
Because you're training.
Yeah.
How sore do you get during the week?
I'm not sore at all. I can bank sessions pretty comfortably. Whereas we've got blokes I know that can't train on Tuesdays because they're too sore. Whereas I'm feeling pretty good on Tuesday.
You've already PB'd a sprint session by Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
Or come close to it. So
and I think it does come back down to the mindset discussion we're having the other day around, like, it's not to say you want to push through injuries when it's like, there's obviously got to be smart about it, but there's still ways, like you said, you've got 3 other limbs that you could potentially train. So it's just around the mindset, which I think holds them in good stead for other aspects of their life.
Yeah, the mindset is more along the lines of I am coming in regardless. It's just what can I do today?
Yeah.
It's not, how do I get out of today's session? Because if that's what you're thinking, you're probably wasting everyone's time.